Well, to me, he's so much. He's, first of all, the reason I have a job. He's the father of the electric guitar. He's the father of multi-track recording.
One of rock and roll's biggest secrets has been locked away in silence. But now,
I didn't get the gig because I don't think I wanted it. It wasn't my type of, nothing against Kiss because I know them. We toured with them as an opening act. And
at the age of 66, Richie Sambora is finally ready to tell the world what
I just was not ever that wasn't my style of what I was looking to do. I was more of a blues-based.
really happened between him and Gene Simmons. This isn't just another rock story. This is about power, respect, and the moment when two legends faced off behind closed doors. What Richie reveals will change everything you thought you knew about Kiss, Bon Jovi, and the music industry itself. Picture this. It's the early 1980s, and rock music is exploding across America. Young musicians are dreaming of making it big, and among them is a talented guitarist from New Jersey named Richie Sambora. He's playing small clubs, working hard and hoping someone will notice his skills. What he doesn't know is that someone very important is already watching him, that someone is Gene Simmons, the legendary bass player and mastermind behind Kiss. Gene has built Kiss into one of the most powerful bands in the world. With their face paint, fire-breathing shows, and larger-than-life personalities, Kiss isn't just a band anymore. They're a brand, a business empire, and Gene Simmons is the man pulling all the strings. But here's what nobody knew back then. Gene Simmons didn't just admire Richie from a distance. He actually approached the young guitarist with an offer that could have changed rock history forever. Gene wanted Richie to join Kiss as their new guitarist. Can you imagine how different things might have been? No Bon Jovi as we know them. No Livin' on a Prayer or Wanted Dead or Alive. The entire landscape of rock music would have been completely different. The story begins at a small music venue in New Jersey. Richie was performing with one of his early bands, pouring his heart out on stage like he always did. The crowd was small, maybe 50 people at most, but the energy was electric. Richie's guitar work was exceptional to hear. Over the next few months, Gene and Richie crossed paths several more times at various music events and concerts. Each meeting deepened Gene's respect for Richie's abilities. Gene saw not just a skilled guitarist, but someone who understood the business side of music and had the stage presence to captivate audiences. These weren't accidental meetings either. Gene was strategically positioning himself to stay connected with this rising talent. Then came the phone call that would change everything. Gene contacted Richie directly and made an offer that few musicians could refuse. He wanted Richie to audition for Kiss. The band was looking for a new guitarist, and Gene had already decided that Richie was his top choice. This wasn't just any audition either. This was a personal invitation from one of rock's most powerful figures. Gene arranged for the audition to take place at a professional recording studio in New York City. The space was impressive, filled with top-of-the-line equipment and everything a musician could dream of. When Richie arrived, he found several Kiss members waiting for him, along with their management team. The pressure was intense, but Richie had been preparing for moments like this his entire life. The audition itself was unlike anything Richie had experienced before. He was asked to play some of Kiss's biggest hits, demonstrating that he could handle their signature sound. But Gene also wanted to hear Richie's own musical ideas. He performed some of his original compositions, showing the creative side that would later help make Bon Jovi so successful. The room was silent as Richie played. Everyone focused on his every note and movement. When the audition ended, Gene was impressed. Very impressed. He had seen countless musicians over the years, but Richie had something different. He had the technical skills, the stage presence, and the creative vision. But on the other hand, Richie had his own dreams and vision for his musical future. He wanted creative freedom, the ability to write his own songs and express his own ideas. He wanted to be more than just a hired guitarist playing someone else's music. Richie had always been independent, and the idea of giving up that independence troubled him deeply. As Richie studied the contract and thought about Gene's offer, he realized something important about himself. He wasn't just a musician who wanted to play other people's songs. He was a songwriter, a creative artist who had his own stories to tell through music. Joining Kiss would mean putting those dreams aside, possibly forever. The decision wasn't easy, but Richie knew what he had to do. He called Gene and respectfully declined the offer. He explained that while he was honored to be considered, he felt his musical path lay elsewhere. He needed the freedom to create his own music and follow his own artistic vision. Gene, to his credit, accepted the decision gracefully. He didn't try to pressure Richie or sweeten the deal. He simply said he understood and wished Richie well. Years later, Richie would look back on this moment as one of the most important decisions of his life. Turning down Gene Simmons and Kiss wasn't just about choosing a different band. It was about choosing to believe in himself and his own potential. It was about having the courage to walk away from guaranteed success in order to chase something that might be even better, and that something turned out to be Bon Jovi. Not long after declining Gene's offer, Richie met John Bon Jovi, who was also looking for a guitarist. The chemistry between them was immediate and powerful. Where Kiss had strict rules and corporate structure, Bon Jovi offered creative collaboration and shared decision-making. Richie found the artistic freedom he had been seeking. The PR.
These occasional collaborations reminded everyone that great musicians can appreciate each other's talents even when they choose different paths. Gene and Richie represented two different approaches to rock music success. Gene built a brand empire, while Richie focused on songwriting and artistic expression. Both approaches worked, just in different ways. Now, at age 66, Richie is finally sharing the complete story of his relationship with Gene Simmons. For decades, he kept the details private out of respect for Gene and to avoid any unnecessary drama. But as both men have matured and their careers have evolved, Richie feels comfortable telling the world what really happened behind the scenes. Richie's revelations shed new light on Gene Simmons as both a businessman and a person. While Gene is often portrayed as cold and calculating, Richie describes him as someone who genuinely cares about music and respects other musicians. Yes, Gene is business-minded and strategic, but he's also passionate about rock and roll and committed to excellence in everything he does. The story also reveals something important about the music industry itself. Success can come in many different forms, and there's no single right path for every artist. Some musicians thrive in highly structured environments like Kiss, while others need more creative freedom like Richie found with Bon Jovi. The key is knowing yourself well enough to make the right choice when opportunity knocks. Perhaps most importantly, Richie's story shows the value of staying true to your artistic vision, even when it means walking away from guaranteed success. His decision to decline Gene's offer wasn't about rejecting Kiss or Gene personally. It was about having the courage to bet on himself and his own potential. That courage paid off in ways that even Richie couldn't have imagined at the time. The impact of Richie's decision extends far beyond his own career. If he had joined Kiss, the entire landscape of 1980s rock music would have been different. Bon Jovi might never have formed, robbing the world of some of its most beloved rock anthems. Other musicians might have taken different paths, creating a completely different musical timeline. Gene Simmons, for his part, has always maintained his respect for Richie's decision. In later interviews, Gene admitted that while he was disappointed at the time, he understood Richie's reasoning. Gene recognized that Richie was someone who needed creative control to reach his full potential. Forcing him into Kiss's structured system might have actually limited his abilities rather than enhancing them. This mutual respect between Gene and Richie has continued throughout their careers. They've appeared together on podcasts and interviews, discussing their careers and the music industry with obvious affection for each other. While they never became bandmates, they became something perhaps even more valuable, longtime friends and mutual admirers in an industry that often breeds rivalry and competition. The story takes on even more meaning when you consider how both men's careers evolved after that pivotal moment. Gene continued to build Kiss into a global brand, expanding into movies, merchandise, and entertainment experiences that went far beyond traditional rock concerts. His business acumen and strategic thinking helped Kiss remain relevant for decades, long after many of their contemporaries had faded away. Meanwhile, Richie's career with Bon Jovi proved that his instincts about needing creative freedom were absolutely correct. His songwriting contributions helped create some of the most enduring rock songs in history. His guitar solos became instantly recognizable, and his harmonies added emotional depth to John's lead vocals. The partnership worked so well that many fans considered Richie just as important to Bon Jovi's sound as John himself. But Richie's story doesn't end with Bon Jovi's success. In 2013, he made another difficult decision that paralleled his earlier choice about Kiss. He left Bon Jovi in the middle of a major tour, citing health concerns, family obligations, and creative differences. Once again, Richie chose personal well-being and artistic integrity over guaranteed financial success and fame. This second major career decision reinforces the themes that have defined Richie's entire professional life. He's someone who refuses to compromise his values or well-being for success, no matter how tempting the offer might be. Whether it was turning down Gene Simmons in the 1980s or leaving Bon Jovi in the 2010s, Richie has consistently chosen authenticity over easy answers. The parallels between these two decisions are striking. In both cases, Richie was offered the chance to be part of something huge and successful. In both cases, he walked away because the situation didn't align with his personal values and creative needs, and in both cases, his decisions proved to be the right ones for him, even though they were difficult to make at the time. Richie's willingness to share this story now, at age 66, reflects his maturity and perspective on his own career. He's no longer the young guitarist trying to make it in the music industry. He's a seasoned professional who can look back on his choices with confidence and clarity. He knows he made the right decisions, even when those decisions seemed risky at the time. The timing of these revelations is also significant. Both Richie and Gene are now elder statesmen of rock music, respected figures who have already secured their legacies. There's no competition between them anymore, no career implications to worry about. They can tell their stories honestly, knowing that their friendship and mutual respect will survive any revelations. For fans of both Kiss and Bon Jovi, Richie's story provides fascinating insight into how rock history might have been different. It's a reminder that the music we love often came about through a series of personal decisions and chance encounters that could have gone completely differently. The songs that soundtrack our lives might never have existed if one person had made a different choice at a crucial moment. But perhaps the most important lesson from Richie's story is about the value of knowing yourself and having the courage to act on that knowledge. In a world that often pressures us to take the safe choice or follow the money, Richie's decisions remind us that staying true to our values and vision can lead to even greater success than we imagined. At 66, Richie Sambora has nothing left to prove and no scores to settle. His decision to finally share the complete story of his relationship with Gene Simmons comes from a place of respect and reflection, not controversy or conflict. It's the story of two talented men who found different paths to success while maintaining their friendship and admiration for each other. This story also serves as an inspiration for young musicians and artists who might be facing their own difficult decisions. Richie's example shows that it's possible to turn down guaranteed success in favor of following your own vision, and that sometimes those risky choices lead to even greater rewards than you could have imagined. Gene Simmons and Richie Sambora represent different approaches to musical success, but both approaches have their merit. Gene's business-focused strategy helped Kiss become a global brand that continues to influence rock music decades after their formation. Richie's artistically driven approach helped create some of the most beloved rock songs in history. The music world is richer for having both perspectives. As we reflect on this remarkable story, it's clear that Richie Sambora's decisions to follow his own path, first with Gene Simmons and later with Bon Jovi, were defining moments not just in his career, but in rock history itself. His courage to bet on himself, his commitment to artistic integrity, and his ability to maintain respect for those who chose different paths all serve as valuable lessons for anyone trying to make the mark in the world. The fact that Gene Simmons and Richie Sambora can look back on these events with mutual respect and even humor shows the maturity that comes with age and success. They've both achieved their dreams just in different ways, and they can appreciate each other's journey without regret or resentment. Now you know the secret that Richie Sambora kept for over 30 years. The story of how Gene Simmons tried to recruit him for Kiss, how Richie had the courage to say no, and how that decision changed the course of rock history. It's a story about respect, courage, and the power of following your own path, even when it means walking away from guaranteed success. If this incredible story of rock and roll history fascinated you as much as it did me, please hit that like button to show your support. Share this video with your friends who love rock music and the amazing stories behind the songs we all know and love. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell so you never miss our latest videos about the legends of rock and the secrets they've finally decided to share. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think about Richie's incredible decision and how it shaped rock history. We love hearing from rock fans like you, and your thoughts make our community even stronger. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video where we'll uncover even more amazing stories from the world of rock and roll.